Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this afternoon for the next review. This is going to be a album review this time, and then I'll go back to getting caught up on movies. And there's another album I got to check out, but I've been waiting for it to come out so I can listen to it. So this album review is for Juice Wrld, The Party Never Ends. The one I did not get a chance to check out until now, because I know it came out last Friday on November 29th. I just didn't review it at the time when it came out. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to. But now, since it's already out, since the past almost week, might as well do it. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the 19 songs on this record and let you know my thoughts on the new Juice Wrld Party Never Ends, his fifth and final posthumous album that they're releasing for him. So let's dive into this review. Now, give me a second. I gotta pause the video real quick. Sorry about that. This cat wanted in my room. He was, yeah, as much as you can hear him right now, he just wanted attention. That's all he wanted. So, pretty much, getting back to the review, we're going to dive into this album review. Starts with the opening track, The Party Never Ends, which is the title track for the record of the album's name. This one is mediocre. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite songs, but it wasn't one of the worst. To open up the record, it's going to get a 3.75 out of 5. I think some of Juice WRLD's rapping in it was alright, but it's just, I just don't like it when record companies like to make albums after they're long gone. After they're passed and all that, they passed away. They do like these posthumous albums. They're doing one with Mac Miller again, so that's no surprise. Posthumous albums for certain artists seem very immoral to do that stuff because it's just not right to do it, and I don't think the family wants them to do it anyway. So pretty much, this song, Party Never Ends, it's an alright song, but it's not one of my favorites, and it's gonna get a 3.75 out of 5. Misfit was a disappointing one too. I'm just not a fan of this one either. I mean, keep in mind, yes, Juice WRLD did write a lot of material before he passed. So I guess these are songs he wanted to come out in the future, but never got a chance to see them in action in the light of day because of his passing in December of 2019. So it's a shame, a week after his birthday, almost a week after his birthday, and things didn't go so well for him. And pretty much, yeah, may he rest in peace, because I believe the 5 years of his passing is coming up, the anniversary for it, on December 8th. But overall, Misfit is a disappointing track. I just wasn't a fan of the mixing and the production and just how Juice WRLD was singing it from time to time. It was on the fence with me. AGATS2. I don't know how you pronounce that. Insecure, featuring Nicki Minaj, is a decent song, but not one of the best songs. I think Nicki Minaj is rapping in it, and at a certain part in the song, kinda is cringy. And her singing is kinda cringy too, from time to time. But Juice WRLD kinda saves the song and makes it decent enough of a listen. Nicki Minaj just doesn't do shit. She tries to sing it, and it's like, bitch, you can't sing, and it's mostly auto-tuned. So I would just shut your fucking trap and stop singing, in my opinion. But overall, the song is decent. It's a listenable track, but not one of the best. so 4 out of 5. Lace It featuring Eminem and Benny Blanco is a disappointing one too. I wasn't a fan of Juice WRLD's rapping in most of it. And then Eminem tries to save the song and make it interesting of a watch, or interesting of a listen, I meant to say. I'm thinking that it's a movie review when it's not. I just think Lace It is a disappointing track, and I just wasn't a fan of this one. 2.75 out of 5. Cuffed is a annoying track too. I didn't like Juice WRLD's rapping in it. I was disappointed with the mixing and production for this, and just overall execution wise, it was not good. 2.75 out of 5. Empty Out Your Pockets is a disappointing one too for the 2 minutes and 15 seconds or so for this track. I'm not a fan. I know it's another extra track for the record, but it wasn't a good extra track, to be honest, and he dropped it as a single, and it's not a great single. So, 2.75 out of 5. Then you get KTM Drip, another annoying track that I can't stand. The way Juice WRLD's rapping it and singing it from time to time, there's some annoying lines and lyrics that get on my nerves. But execution wise, I think it didn't do it for me. So another 2.75 out of 5. Love Letter was okay of a track. I wasn't a fan of it, but I was interested in how it was going to turn out. So I think it's an okay track. It plays it safe in a good way, but there are some execution flaws with it. So 3.25 out of 5. It's mostly the mixing and production that is the execution flaw. But overall, structurally, Juice WRLD sounds alright in it. Condone It is a kind of meh track. Not really feeling for this one either, but I don't hate it. I'm just in the middle with this one. With how it's sounding and Juice WRLD singing and rapping in it, it's on the fence with me. 3 out of 5. Goodbye, performed by the Kid Laroi, actually was a good song, surprisingly. It actually was the only track I liked on this record. And that's a shame, because this record has no replay value, for sure. But overall, Goodbye, performed by the Kid Laroi. Nice track to tribute to Juice WRLD, since it's been almost 5 years since his passing. It's pretty much Kid Laroi singing it, and the mixing's not too bad. It's just mellow, mostly, so 4.5 out of 5. Party by Myself is quite annoying. I'm not a fan of Juice WRLD singing in it. It sounds cringy and not very good. So this was not a good song. 2.5 out of 5. Probably one of the worst tracks. Adore You is another annoying track that I can't stand. I'm just very disappointed and displeased with this track because of how Juice WRLD is singing it, and just the mixing and production is a little iffy. So 2.5 out of 5. Celebrate with Offset is an annoying one. It's just like a mumble rap track, that slight mumble rap track in a way, but it's disappointing. Offset didn't sound good in it either. And Juice WRLD didn't even try to save the song. He tried, but it just didn't execute very well. So 2.75 out of 5. Jeffrey is an annoying track. I'm just not a fan of this one. I was very displeased with how it sounded overall, and just Juice WRLD singing and rapping is quite on the fence with me. So 2.75 out of 5. Barbarian is the next track, and it's a very bad song. It's just the way he's mumbling Juice WRLD and rapping. It's not executing. When the chorus comes in, it just doesn't sound great. Mixing and production and his rapping and singing doesn't do it for me. So I was quite displeased with this one. 2.5 out of 5. Best Friend with Fall Out Boy is a mediocre track. I mean, there was a drum part in the track that I was kind of digging, but he didn't want to go with it, Juice World, and the mixing kind of shifted back to the trap beats and all that close to the end of the track. And it's like, it's not good, but it's not terrible. It's just mediocre. So 3.75 out of 5. Floor It is a meh track. I think some of Juice WRLD's singing and rapping has its good and weak points, but execution-wise, it doesn't do it for me, for the most part. So I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Oxycodone, disappointing song. I'm not feeling for the melody. I'm not feeling for how Juice WRLD's singing it and rapping it, and just the overall structure and the flow of it is kind of all over the place in a way. It's not terrible, but it is terrible, but it's not one of the worst tracks I've heard during the year. But overall, 2.75 out of 5. It's just a disappointing track. I wasn't pleased with it. It's kind of skippable. And finally, we get to Spend It. Spend It is not a bad way to end the record, but it's not the best track. I think it's decent, but it doesn't execute too bad. It's one of the highlights, sadly, one of the 3 songs that I could probably come back to. Everything else is kind of not so good. So I'd give it a 4 out of 5 for Spend It. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's just decent at best. It ends the record on a okay note, but pretty much now we're going to be diving into the final thoughts and all that. So overall, my final thoughts on this record, what do I think of it? I'm disappointed. I'm not pleased with this 5th and final posthumous album from Juice WRLD. I think this is one of his worst to date. I think the last one should have been the something demons or whatever, fighting demons. That was the last one he dropped. And he did a pre-party one, and then now we got the Party Never Ends. I think the last one should have been Fighting Demons. I think this was so unnecessary and needed a lot more work, this record. I think he should have at least dropped it in 2025, and that should have been it. But nope. It had to be a late 2024 release for Juice WRLD, and not a good release. So, if I were to give Juice WRLD The Party Never Ends a score, it's going to get a 5 out of 10. It was disappointing. I'm not a huge fan of it. I was so bummed out with some of the tracks, and just quite annoyed at times with some of the tracks, with how he was singing and rapping it. But it's just, it could have used a lot more work, this record, and it didn't structurally flow right in some of the tracks. So it's quite a disappointing record to see Juice WRLD have a 5th and final album be his worst album. So they're not going to be doing any more, and I think that should be it, for sure, because this is what happens when you write too much material and then you run out of a good idea and you just tank with it. So, pretty much, I think Fighting Demons should have been the last one, personally, because that would have ended it fine for Juice WRLD's discography, but this was not a good effort. So, 5 out of 10 for Juice WRLD. The Party Never Ends. Not going to be coming back to this. It unfortunately did not make the cut for worst albums of 2024. It should have, but if it came out sooner, then yes, I would have put it on the list. But until then, thanks for watching this review for Juice WRLD, The Party Never Ends, and I'll see you in my next review.